So, hello everyone, let's solve MEXT exam, Math B 2013, question 2. So, he gave you this big f of x function, and he's telling that the integral of small f of t dt is equal to f of x. So, what is he trying to tell us by this? Well, you need to remember that if you have a function, f of t, you integrate it, and he's telling you that you find f of x. So if we derive f of x, now notice that here we have t and here we have x. So if we derive in the question f of t, we will find small f of t. If you integrate a function and you find something, if you derive that something, you go back to the function that you need to integrate it to find it. If it doesn't make sense, look, the big f of x is big f of x is what? Is equal to x cubed and all that stuff, right? But what I want to find is f of t. What is f of t? Well, f of t is t cubed minus 2t squared plus t minus a. So notice, the only thing I did is in place of x, what I did was put at t, okay? And this is it, because if f of x is this, f of t is this. Now notice, it's not anything complicated. If I wanted to find f of 2, if I told you that f of x is this big function over there, and I asked you what is f of 2, well, you would say it's 2 cubed minus 2 multiplied by 2 squared, right? So f of t is just this. Now, what do we need to do with this? So, look, what did we find? We found that, I'm already integrating it. Wait a sec. So, what did we find? We found that our f of t, our big f of t, is equal to t cubed minus 2t squared plus t minus a. So remember what I told you. The small f of t is the derivative of the big f of t, right? Because, so let's just derive this. So the derivative of f of t, comma, is equal to the small f of t, right? Because when we integrate the small f of t, we get the big f of t. So if we derive the big one, we go back to the small one. So let's derive this. T cubed, it will be 3t squared, and that's it. So minus, let's derive this part. 2 multiplied by 2, 4t. Let's derive this part. Well, it will be only plus 1. This part is a constant, so 0. So look, the small f of t, it's this thing over here, which is equal to the derivative of the big f of t, okay? Okay, so now remember, let's integrate from a to x. What are we going to integrate? Well, 3t squared minus 4t plus 1, all this dt. Why are we going to integrate this? Because this is our f of t. If we integrate this, we should find f of t, right? But we know so by integrating this part over here, this part is f of t. If we integrate f of t, remember, we'll find the big f of x, right? Because we are integrating from a to x. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to integrate this part, and then I'm going to compare it with what he gave me in the question, because it should give the same result right over here. This part should be the same that I find when I integrate over here, and this is going to be my what I'm going to do in the next page. I'm going to integrate this. So if you want to try to do it in a page by yourself, so how do we go on integrating this? So 3t cubed divide by 3, right? Integrate this part of it from a to x minus 4t squared divided by 2. Yeah, I'm just integrating this part over here from a to x plus t. The integral of 1 is t from a to x. Okay, so in the next page I'm going to put the result of this part over here. Okay, so remember the 3 will cancel with 3, and then we'll have x cubed minus a cubed, right, from the first part. So we'll have x cubed minus a cubed. From the second part, the 2 will cut with the 2. We'll have 2 multiplied by x squared minus a squared, right? So it will be 2 multiplied by x squared minus a squared. So minus 2 multiplied by x squared plus 2 multiplied by a squared. Remember, look, this part over here, has a minus, so your signal will change. It was going to be x squared 2x squared minus 2a squared, but we have a minus outside, so the signal will change and you have minus 2x squared minus 2a squared. So let's go back over here. So the t will have x minus a, right? Just doing simple integration. So minus plus x minus a. And now if you remember, if you have the question there with you, look, this should be equal to x cubed minus 2x squared plus x minus a. So this should be equal to x cubed minus 2x squared plus x minus a. So let's put the parts together. Look, x cubed 2x squared 2x squared, and plus x minus a. So everything is here but the 2a squared and a cubed. So this term must cancel with this term because we don't have it in the other function, right? So it must cancel. So 2a squared minus a cubed should be equal to 0, right? So a should be equal to, well, a goes to the other side, and here comes the importance of telling you that a is different than 0, so you can cancel it. Okay, so a is different than 0, so a is equal to 2, right? Because the a goes to the other side and then you cancel the a's, so a is equal to 2, and this is the answer for a. And now we have our complete function, right? Because look, big f of x now is equal to what? To x cubed minus 2x squared plus x. It was minus a, now it is minus 2, okay, because we found that 2 was equals to that a was equal to 2. Now let's see the second question. Find the range of f of x where f of x is bigger than 0. So okay, now how do we go on solving this? We want to find f of this part over here bigger than 0. So we need, I'm going to do it, this is the way that I found, so I'm going to do it by simplifying this part over here, okay, so that I can analyze it better. I'm going to take this part and this part and this part and this part. What do I mean by this part and this part? Now look, x cubed and x, so I'm going to take x to the outside and then I'm going to have x squared plus 1, right? This is what I'm going to do. I have, look, it would be x cubed plus x, so this is the thing that I'm going to do. So we have x squared plus x. So I took this part and this part. Now for this and this, I'm going to take minus 2 to the outside, and then I'm going to have x squared plus 1. Okay, look, just put minus 2x squared minus 2, okay? So I didn't do anything special over here. But now look, you have this part and this part, they are similar, they are the same, so we can take them out. So x squared plus x, okay, so x squared plus x multiplied by x minus 2. So now we have, sorry, this is 1 over here, right? Yeah, it is 1 over here. Yeah, that was I did this part over here wrong, because remember, x cubed multiplied by 1 will be x. So yeah, this is 1 over here, and here is 1. Now we have x minus 2. Okay, so now it is real. This is f of x. So this is easier to find the range. Why? Because this part over here is always positive. Why? Because x is squared. It doesn't matter what value you put to x, it's going to be squared, so it's going to be bigger than 0. And when you sum it with 1, it will still be bigger than 0. So the only thing that will matter for you is that this part over here needs to be bigger than 0. And in this way, your f of x will be bigger than 0, okay? So x is bigger than 2. When x is bigger than 2, this part over here is bigger than 0, and your f of x is bigger than 0, okay? So this is why f needs to be bigger than 2. Now, if you wonder how I knew this, doing this, I'm going to find this part over here. To be honest, it's kind of practiced, but when you usually choose the first with the third one and the second with the fourth one, because you see you have x cubed over here and x over here. When I take an x outside, I will have the x squared. So I kind of imagined already what I needed to find, okay? So this is for the second one, is that x need to be bigger than 2. So let's see the third one. So the third one is asking, find the area of the region surrounded by the x-axis and the graph of f of x. So he wants the area of the region surrounded by the x-axis and the graph of f of x. So do you remember what was f of x? We did calculate it, okay? So f of x, the small f of x, actually it was f of t, but if you put x in the place of t to find the f of x, you will find that it was 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. So, and what do we want? We want that area of this function between 0 and what did he tell us? Yeah, he want the area between the 0 and the graph of f of x. So how is the graph of this function over here? Well, this is a second degree function, so we can draw it, right? So this part over here is the linear coefficient, so it tells us where it cuts the y-axis, right? So it cuts over here, okay, because it is 1. Now it is a positive one, so it is concave like this, not like this, okay? It is not a sad parabola, it's happy one. Now to find where it cuts the x-axis, let's solve the formula for the second degree. B plus or minus, well, here we will have 16 minus 12, which is going to be 4, and 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. So we're going to have 4 plus or minus 2 divided by 6. So it is your first cut will be in 1, and your second one, 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 is 2, 1/3. So it will be like this, being here 1/3 and here is 1, okay? So why is this important? Because this is the area he wants, okay? This is the area he wants, from 1/3 to 1. Now we know the parts that our integral will take. So our integral is going from where to 1? From 1/3 to 1. And what was the function that we are integrating? Well, 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. Guys, I didn't do any magic over here, okay? It was a second degree function. And why did I think of drawing it? Because I wanted to find an area, and to find this area I needed to think of the space that I'm going to find. I needed to know this part over here of my integral, okay? This part over here. So this is why I draw it, and I like to draw it. It's always useful to draw it, okay? So now let's integrate. Well, 3x cubed divided by 3 from 1/3 to 1 minus 4x squared divided by 2 from 1/3 to 1 plus x from 1/3 to 1. 1/3 to 1. So now putting the values 1 and 1/3 over here, 1 and 1/3 over here. Be careful with the minus part, so that you don't put any area. Your area is going to be 4 divided by 27, okay? So just the first part was, look, the first part that you would cut with 3, and then you would have 1 minus 1/3 cubed, right? So let's go back over here. I can't be lazy, I need to do it. Good. Okay, so you'd have 1 minus 1/3 cubed is 1 divided by 27, minus you would have 2 multiplied by 1, but plus, but there is a minus sign before it, so you have 2, and then plus it would be minus 2 multiplied by 1/3 cubed, but you have a minus sign outside, so you squared. So you have 2 multiplied by 1/3 squared, right? 1/3 squared is 1 divided by 9, plus 1 minus 1/3, and this will get you to 4 divided by 27. Okay,